Hello and welcome to another video. I hope that you're all very well. Today I would like to talk about road markings. To be more precise, I'd like to talk about the difference between solid and broken road markings. However, before I get started, I just want to say a big thank you to all our subscribers, because without you guys, this video today would not be possible. If you're watching this channel and you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, as one, it will support the channel, and two, you will not miss out on our future videos. Okay, let's talk about road markings. One of the most important things to remember is that the more paint you see on the road, the more the hazard, the more the danger. The less paint, the less the danger. So I'm going to run through some road markings, starting off with a common road marking that we see: lane lines. In this clip, you can see short lines and long gaps. These are there to divide the road, so you know this is my side of the road and that's their side of the road. In the distance, the lanes are getting longer. At the same time, the gaps are getting shorter. These are known as hazard warning lines. As soon as you notice them, you need to check the mirrors and identify the hazard. In this case, the hazard is the junction that we are approaching. In other words, the roundabout. Rule 127 of the Highway Code states, do not cross a hazard warning line unless you can see that the road ahead is clear and wish to overtake or turn off. Remember that the hazard warning lines are longer, they use more paint. So the more paint on the road, the greater the hazard. Let's move on to cycle lanes next. Here we have a broken cycle lane. If it is safe to do so, we can enter this lane. For example, if there was a driver in front waiting to turn right, we could move into the cycle lane and pass them on the left. However, occasionally we will find a solid cycle lane. If we see no timings, we must not enter the cycle lane at any time. However, some solid lines will have a timing, and you must not enter during the stated hours. Outside these hours, we can treat it as a broken cycle lane. So far, we've looked at lane lines becoming hazard lines, and we've also looked at a broken cycle lane versus a solid cycle lane. On both occasions, you will recall that the more paint on the road, the more the hazard, the greater the hazard. Next, we're going to move over to the no overtaking lines in the center of the road. Here we have a broken line on our side of the road and a solid line on the other side. This means that we can overtake if it's safe to do so. However, the oncoming traffic must not overtake. As we are about to enter a bend, we now have a solid line on our side of the road, indicating that we must not overtake. However, the vehicles approaching in the opposite direction can overtake if they see it to be clear. Rule 129 of the Highway Code states that when there are two lines and the closest one to you is solid, you must not cross or straddle it, unless it's safe and you need to enter adjoining premises or a side road. We may cross the line if necessary, provided the road is clear to pass a stationary vehicle or a pedal cyclist, horse or a road maintenance vehicle, provided they are traveling at less than 10 miles per hour. As we are still in the bend, we still have a solid line on our side of the road, ordering us not to cross or straddle it. However, due to the hidden junction on the right, there is now a solid line on the other side of the road as well, indicating that the oncoming vehicles should not also cross or straddle the line. Next, we're going to move on to chevrons or diagonal strips. These are there for one of two reasons. Firstly, to separate the flow of traffic, and secondly, to protect vehicles turning right at a protected right turn. If the borderline of the strips or chevrons are solid, we must not enter them except in an emergency. If we do wish to turn off, our only option is to go all the way to the end of the road and then come back on ourselves in the opposite direction. This is unless we have a protected right turn box. If the borderline of the strips or chevrons is broken, then we may enter them in order to position in the protected right turn. This way, drivers can safely pass us on the left without having to wait behind us. Another area that broken and solid lines are used are at the end of the road. A broken line or broken lines represent give way, and a solid line represents a stop line. The give way lines at the end of the road means that we must give way to traffic on the main road, regardless of whether it's coming from the right or the left. We do not want to unnecessarily stop at all give way lines. However, we do need to make sure that it is 100% safe for us to proceed before proceeding. If we are only 99% sure that it is safe, we must come to a stop. A stop line is a white solid line, and these are often placed at junctions with very poor visibility. Whenever you see a white stop line, you will often see a red octagon sign with the word stop in it. By law, we must come to a complete stop at all stop lines. Once we have come to a stop, then and only then we make the necessary observations, which is the minimum observations, which are to the right, left and right again. Make sure it's safe before proceeding. Well, that brings the video to a conclusion. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have, please share it with at least one person and help the channel to grow. Thank you very much for your time. Take care. Bye-bye.